Welcome to the Tribe G podcast, episode number 5, season 2. And as usual, I'm with a crew, I'm with a gang.
Gang.
Luckily enough, Ian is back today. Ian, what up?
I was hoping you'd start with an apology.
Apology for what?
What was that last week? I was out on official personal duty, but you guys made it seem like, visa revoked. Hey, he was just from home. Hey, come on, guys.
You see, you left it to us. You didn't tell us why you are MIA, so it was up to our interpretation and our definition of things. And the way you were acting throughout the entire week was suspicious. So we thought they revoked the visa.
Because, man.
The visa is still active.
Oh, my God.
The visa is still active. And we're still listening to Lamu. So it's all good over here.
He played for Madame some Lamu music. He played
you listen for yourself.
But yes, Mark, the count in the building as well. Thank you for sticking with us into episode 5. We welcome you to this journey. And you see, last week we told you that Leslie hadn't yet sent some money to support the pod. So we switched up and sent him away and brought back Ian. So if you don't want to be like Leslie, send some money to 624404. That's 624404.
So in brief, Leslie, if you're watching, Ian bought your seat.
I didn't even have to because he actually meant to come, but when I was arriving, I found him fighting with a safe border guy.
No,
he didn't have enough money, so
wow.
As we speak, he could be in a cell somewhere.
Ian's judges work.
I hear water outside. He could be washing the border guy's bike.
The man has come with vengeance. So we are going to tread carefully with him.
Ian's which doctors work differently. They didn't waste time. They were like, 1 week later, they're like, boom, Leslie gone.
And I increased my witch doctor's allowance. One of these days.
Ian said he's going to give him a gift for Heroes Day.
But last week was brutal. Do you know what's funny is I saw the people that don't even really care about music, but I saw them, laughing, oh my God, funny episode, the Ian roast. I'm like, it's not even about the roast, it's the content, it's the music. Guys are like, no, those guys, blah, blah. So you guys have turned into comedians.
You see how we're all not answering. We're like, man, the guy may throw some stuff. He even told us, I'm sitting in the middle even.
I have to put myself in a position where
you can hit
fire.
As long as we sorted out producer, so in it, he will just mute his microphone. In case
there's one person Ian hasn't yet paid.
In case things go south too quick. But Ian, want to officially welcome you back.
I was never really gone.
Back like I never left. Back in it.
The visa, the passport, they're all still active. Yeah.
But welcome back. That you haven't given us your review. How did we do without you?
Well, I could feel the energy was a bit different. I'm like, of course the Ian touch is missing. But besides the unjust roast, the episode was good. I liked that even without me, I was a bit worried. I'm like, oh shit, without me, these guys, they can still hold their own and hide my contract safe. But so it was a good episode and I think I got to experience what our listeners get to experience, like you're on the outside and
you don't know what's coming.
You don't know what's coming, and I'm listening. I'm like, okay, music. Oh, Ian's passport. I'm like, what? He was just by Madame. Hey, there's something they said about when Felix was like, he must be there saying ew. I'm like, but in terms of my roast aside, the content was good. I listened to the episode and experienced what the audience experiences, and I think you guys are doing a good job because it's being an outsider for once. You really appreciate what happens here and the research that goes into the opinions. It was a good episode.
There is a point where you throw shout outs to our behind the scenes guys.
Our behind the scenes guys have always been on point. LNF, Hassan,
from the family.
Yeah. And you see, you take it for granted when you're on set, but when you're on the outside, actually watching the work that goes, because
This man wasn't even bothered to ask us. So when is the first draft of the audio coming? Nothing.
He just waited.
He just waited.
What was funny though, and that is still why Ian chose to bewitch him first. Leslie did say that, episode 4 was my favorite episode. And I was like, is it because Ian is not there?
Let's send fire emojis throughout the entire listening session. You would think he wasn't part of the entire show.
yeah, now he's out there watching.
Yeah, but guys, if you watched, if you gave us feedback as usual, we appreciate. And as Mark said,
But I think Les needs a tutorial for how to wear caps.
Les.
Yeah. Did anyone else notice how when he was wearing, first of all, shout out to Naxa for the march, I got my cap as well. But the way Les was wearing the cape, he seemed like a dad who has given up on himself because the kids at campus now. Like, come on, Les, what up, man?
Well, he's practicing. He's practicing. You may find that's the next phase of his life.
Yeah,
that
but
dude doesn't
still,
care.
like,
You fake it till you make it.
you might have given him some inspiration.
we are not set on good terms.
Tread carefully.
No, I'm trying to speak for Les. This is not around. But I'll stop here. Gents, what do we have for episode 5?
Well,
Are we starting from the new music that has been released?
I think we should, because
So that when things are still fresh, so that people don't ask us.
things are hot.
Which artists are those you are talking about at the end? They need to ask now, and we tell them who they are.
Yeah, people who are asking, man, you guys want everything. Some people said, in fact, you should even send us the links to all their music and what. And we're like, yeah, okay. Next time, I promise. Or if you want like Lucas Black's links, we did post it in the article on the Tribe UG website. So please, guys, watch out for the extra stuff that we do in and around. We've had playlists for some of the music. We've had articles and things like that. So yeah, but no, this is not about Lucas Black's. He had his album and we did talk about it. But there are other people that have released some good music. Yvonne.
Oh yeah, Yvonne. It's Kushe.
And we'll say Kushe.
must be Kushe.
Yvonne Kushe. Unchained.
But next episode, you're not coming. You
Why?
can't even pronounce people's names.
Man, you have to be on a safe
Valley
side.
Cav. No.
You have to be on a safe side. You may say the wrong name, and then before you know it, we are not.
Yvonne released Unchained, and I think, first of all, it's a good project. Nice, solid 8 songs. Of course, there are those we had heard before. Some of them like Kulikayo, which was, she has a music video for it. It's a good song, good vibes. And there's a number of others on there that are just fire emoji. What?
You know, when in the episode we had, episode 3 with Sal DJ, I talked about how Mark is a songwriter. And when I was listening to Kushe's project, there is a song that sounds like it was it sounds Marcus. Is there a pen somewhere on that project?
All I can say is
Check the credits.
no, but if you want, but guys, if you're out there and you want a song like some of the stuff there, you talk to us. Reach out to Skyline Media. We can get. Apparently, there's some Markish stuff
normally
there.
LNF puts an email here that says advertising, but for anything, writing songs, if you have a podcast, you want to execute anything, just send an email to that email.
Yeah. Also, if you're
normally
looking,
pops up there.
if you're looking for new friends, send an email. I'll give you these guys. Yeah, but on her project, do you have a pen somewhere?
I don't have any pen anywhere.
Here's a pencil.
Leave me.
No, I mean like a pen, like writing.
Of course, I know what you mean.
Like, what?
Take it there. No. But
Because what song is that? I was
you're talking about Kulika.
yeah, it sounds like something you would write. Sounds like some. It actually
sounds like
sounds
something
written
I've
by
written
you.
before.
Yeah, sounds like something. Yeah.
No, of course I've written something similar for someone else, but I think that is exactly what is in your mind that's, let me say, confusing you.
No, because
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I would actually do it like that. That's why it's one of my favorites on her projects. Of course, there's a number of other good songs on there, but that's one of my favorites for that reason. It sounds like, yes, I would make that decision. So
Yeah, I can relate because even me listening to the project, the whole project as a package, you feel there's when you listen to a song and you feel the artist has executed it, like they've executed it right. Because you would not take away or add on. It's just the flow is as good as it should be. Because there's this one of Luca's songs, my son's songs. There's a song called there's one of the Baby Lullabies, which the first time I listened to it, wherever I thought an elevation should be, it was there. Where I thought the song should drop, it was there. And this felt like one of those where you're listening to a project and you're like, like this is.
Have you compared her project to Lucas' baby songs?
No, to like a perfect song. I think the song is called Ocean Lullaby.
Your son,
plugging his
Hold on. What's that baby group?
Coco and Melon.
Coco Melon. Thank you.
Your son giving us baby content.
Me and Luca may do a podcast. Just you guys and
you bring Leslie and his dad hat.
But aren't you surprised that?
No, wait.
Aren't you surprised that I know the
Coco Melon.
How do you know that artist?
We all know.
You see, when you have cop singers in different groups, you know these things. So
those are, I'm not available. You be babysitting.
I know the single mothers. They also need love.
Wow.
But I'll say
is that
this.
why you changed Mutono's song to Baby Daddy No Wahala? Because you relate like, oh, this is
Yo,
my area
let
code.
me tell you, no, for Mutono it just sounds like that's what he was saying. That's why it changed.
It's like, no, we
Baby
can't
daddy,
have a baby daddy. Baby daddy no wahala.
But Unchained, I have a question. When was the event for that album? Was it like in Feb?
I think it was Feb.
So why did it take this long? I'm not putting her on blast. I just want to understand when something.
Maybe we'll do some tribe chats and find out.
And we'll find out. As for first of all, Yvonne, growth. For me, it's growth because she's a friend of hip hop. There are some hip hop hooks she used to deliver. Some personal songs she did, like the Mayanja song.
Anyway,
Yeah, you can see that growth. However, on this project, when I was listening, some songs just took me back to Lillian. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
One of them reminded me of Lillian's Kawa Kawa. I was like, it just took me back there, and I just had to go listen to Lillian's Kawa Kawa. And then that's how I realized Lillian is super talented.
let me tell you something. It's quite crazy because actually I'll agree with you on one thing. Of course, it's the Afro House thing and the fact that Lillian was one of our artists that did that housey feel. Of course, you've mentioned Kawa, where she gives us a type of vibe. But it's not the first time. I felt the same in the past because Yvonne had an older song called Ngambira, and there's what is it you want? The way she sings that line, very Lillian, like you hear. But I guess this is two talented people singing. We're using powerful voices to sing something great.
And then I like the fact that she brings the Runyankole to a couple of these songs.
Actually, a number of languages.
That authenticity and that identity is very crucial, especially for someone who is based in Canada like her.
Yeah.
It is very crucial. People have to know where you come from.
I even like that she brings in her skits because we all know, a lot of people know the many skits she's done, all those people are going to name their kids COVID. But, and like, there's one of the songs, I think it's the one with Rickman Rick, and she throws in at the start a couple of moments that remind people of that other side of herself.
That collaboration, I can understand why she did it, but then at the same time, I'm like, no, don't put another person. But I understand why she did
but
it.
in terms of that, it's a dope song. It's a dope song. You had?
Yeah, you know how this whole argument, of course, it's always two-sided, how some people say we need to discover our sound as a country and blah, blah, blah. I feel by artists incorporating our local languages, they're setting, they're sort of catering to that we need to discover our sound, because if for the music to be exported, we need to have that personal attachment to it before we can take it out there. So like you're saying, hearing her put the Runyankole in her songs, it's being from that side, it's a moment of that's music that has a personal touch. And if I was to recommend it, there is that homegrown thing. Same as with Luganda, every time you hear a track, all these artists doing collabos with Kenyans and stuff, when you hear them drop a Luganda word, you're like, yes, that's ours. So I feel like that whole debate of we need to discover our sound, discover our kind of Ugandan thing. If the journey to discover that, if it meant incorporating our local languages, I feel like people are really onto it, and it's good to hear.
But I just want to disturb you. I didn't want you to have to. The problem is you said it. Now I have to just check you small. No, but you see this thing of our sound. Language is one thing, and it's obviously attached to I enjoy as well. You're there, and then she sings a whole a song like Kulikayo. She goes through it, and she gets to that bit and Pola, and you're like, oh my god, that's so dope for to incorporate it. I think it's dope that it is added, and it adds value. But then to then call it still the way she's singing. In fact, she's a perfect example because her voice, her sound, the way she executes her vocal, that's sort of. I want to almost call it some sort of classical training style vocal. Mm-hmm. It's again removed from what anyone would. How do I say? You cannot make it a. I want to just say it simply. You cannot call it a Ugandan sound.
So you're saying
because even English is still a Ugandan thing in the sense that it, in a way that exactly. Yeah. So you learned it in your Ugandan school, and you learned it. So in the same way, I don't think just the language, although it's something I love being done any day, but I don't think that then qualifies it as.
I think it does because how many?
If let's say I'm Chiga guy today, went on a rock song and did a song in Richiga, is that in the journey of discovering a Ugandan sound?
Not discovering the Ugandan sound, but the way we've always argued that we don't appreciate our own talent here, but by doing that you'll catch our attention, then we see what else can you do.
No, but you see, then again, so you're saying if you do it fully in English, then you don't catch our attention?
Not really.
Ideally, but what I'm trying to say is what you're saying is okay and it's great and it adds value and it has importance, but to label it, if my issue is what you've used as a choice of what, it's not the thing itself. The thing itself, it's great. Actually, the example you gave saying, oh my God, you're listening to a song that's not UG based and you hear Luganda and you're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Mm-hmm. I get that, but that doesn't mean that, for instance, if I had the same artist, let's say again, a Ugandan, on a song with people out there, and he didn't use a Ugandan word, I wouldn't then say he has not given a Ugandan song. For instance, he may do something else that's ours. He may speak about he may say Rolex. He may speak to the Rolex.
Yeah, but
that's still ours. I'm like, oh my God, that's for us.
Yeah, but you see how if you're a first time listener and you listen to an artist and in their song they have like a Luganda word, you probably go and check out the other stuff.
Not necessarily. But the word is not the one that's going to send me. No, it's the way, it is what they have sung.
Yeah, but there's when you listen to an artist and you're not really sure, is this Ugandan or not?
Okay.
But when you hear that, something that's familiar.
So again, are you checking them because they're Ugandan or are you checking them because they're talented?
There's obviously the home bias.
Not necessarily.
It has to be there.
We would want it to be there, but that's not how it works.
Because you can see how the Nigerians have pushed their music.
That's okay.
But I would say this: that whole Ugandan sound debate is too tired. Like we just need to leave it. Let guys create and give us what they can give us.
Yes,
it's good vibes. It's good vibes. It's good music.
For me, it's the quality any day.
Some of this music can stand the test of time. So let's welcome that, because once we box them in, give us Ugandan sound, we are not going to limit their creativity.
We're not boxing them or limiting their creativity. I mean, at the end of the day, the artists.
And then also the other thing you need to remember, Uganda, we have over how many languages?
Correct.
40 languages. All these tribes, we have different musical instruments.
Yes.
And those musical instruments, different sounds. So you can't say, hey guys, want this to be the Ugandan sound. No, let guys explore, let the creativity go on. And also, let's leave this debate. It's too tired.
Yeah, but wait.
Another album was released.
You see.
You're going to exhaust it, and you're going to tell us things we want, and then we're going to keep telling you no. So you shall hold.
You shall give us a layover episode.
We'll give you a layover episode for that.
No, hold on.
Yes, we shall give you a layover. We really need to.
Right. I agree, and I agree with what you guys have said. Yeah, we can't box them in and stuff, but I mean,
and I'll have another objection to what
I mean,
we're going to stay here.
Yeah, but look.
So either we move or you keep telling
Oba,
us
you
about
The
Oba, you
artist.
there? Oba, you
don't.
like seriously, Oba, you there? Oba, you know.
No, we
going to insist.
we
Okay,
cannot neglect the fact that the likes of Eddie Kenzo, Bebe Cool, blah blah blah, who do music are more successful than these chaps who tend to want to lean to only English.
What does that mean?
But now you see, you are taking us to that episode
another
with
thing.
James Proper. With James Proper.
Exactly.
And
So you have to borrow from the other side,
unless
so that you appeal to your audience as you spread out your wings.
No.
Mark, second project, second
He
project.
has even made it worse. Now he has said more things that need to be attacked.
From worst to worst.
It's just worse. Just please stop. Producer, mute his mic so that I can continue. The next project that we have, oh my God, someone bring back Leslie, is Isabella UG. You know, she really did, she really dropped the bomb. And for her, it was quite interesting because this is, again, someone else with some vocal ability that is quite interesting. You know, she has great range. And I know Ian only recently came onto the Kenneth Mugabe train. But like, I know that like she had a Woo Yo, I think it was, video with Kenneth, I think it was last year or so. It was great, like great vocal. And I'm like, you know, like Jesus, like it would be dope to listen to something new from this person and see. And then she gave us, and it's a great thing for her to have done and released. I'll just, for my own personal whatever, I'll just have to say, guys, if you haven't listened to that project and you want to take a summary into what she has to offer, if you want a trailer before you go into the full thingy, please check out April. Then she has 2 songs with features that are worth checking as well. She has one with Afri and one with Taka HD. I'm like, man, but just check out April because that song, guys, fire upon this.
Have you mentioned that? It's like, haven't mentioned that.
Isabella UG.
Isabella UG. I have one comment. I don't know if she's watching. For branding purposes, please try to make your social media handles correlate with your artist name. Like, it's hard to find her on social media. It's hard.
I remember
or do it like Ninja C. Ninja C has the personal one where it's Cynthia and the government name, the family name. And then she has another one for her Ninjaness, where we find all rap content and all her hosting gigs. Branding, let it be easy to find you. In regards to her music, I'll say this. You know, we listen to music differently. And sometimes we want this music to connect with our audience. I happened to share this project with a certain person I won't mention. And that person was going through real life things. And that person connected with this project. And for me, that's a huge, huge bonus in my books. That is a credit to her in terms of creating music that people can relate to. Because at the end of the day, that's what the music is supposed to do, to make you feel things. They might be sad things, happy things, but that's what music is supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, for her project, I guess it's, I agree with what you guys have said, except that person who's going through stuff.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know he didn't say who it was, but Les, you'll be fine. It's, it's part of life. It's, yeah, like,
from one daddy to another. You're telling him you'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll make it.
To make an omelette, you have to break some eggs so that it's broken your heart. Sorry, man. It's
wow.
Yeah, but it's no excuse for you to take a safe border without money. But
you should take an Uber instead.
If you take an Uber, it will be worse. But
you know that if you can't afford Porsche, you do cake. So if you can't afford a safe border, let him do an Uber.
What?
Crying at the back of the Uber with headphones. But anyway, her project was. I think the most outstanding thing about her project is her vocals. She's one of those artists you listen to, and as much you may not relate to the music as much as Les does, but you still find it extremely relatable because the voice, you feel the voice in the songs, you feel the emotions in what she's trying to communicate through the song. And I guess it's been a while since music made us feel like this. for Leslie, it's most recent, but it's so it's interesting when you hear an artist and there's a soul in the music. When you listen to it, you relate to it, and it just makes for good music for enjoying. Leslie's case for crying, but I loved her project, and I know there's a lot of history catching up to do with her music, because you mentioned what she has done with Kenneth Mugabe, and I'll definitely go back and look into that. Leslie, don't. So
Good.
yeah, I love the project. I don't have too much to say.
Except
I may
for
trigger Leslie and he cries.
Who are the producers credited on this project? I know some might be on.
There's Sammy, right?
And then I know she has a brother who does production. I just wanted to be sure.
You check the
Check the credits.
Hey.
We shall tell our producer to check. But
No.
we shall get a fact checker for every episode to check for us in case something doesn't click. So any other?
Also, the producers, you check on this fact check on Leslie too.
Because I think we have one more project, and that's Maurice Kirya. See, I have to give these people something. Not every day raps. There's Maurice Kirya. Although, man, I don't know what it is. There's something that I've not. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, for me, because I've just been put on to Kenneth Mugabe. It's hard for me to appreciate someone within that space that is not exactly at his pace. And this Maurice Kirya project for me is I didn't quite connect with it, and it's not even in a way. It's not even about the music. It's just something didn't click. It's of course it's about the music, but I wouldn't say as an artist. I think sometimes what helps us appreciate artists is when you discover an artist, you tend to go through time and understand their journey and see their growth. For Maurice, I wouldn't say I'm just discovering him. We've listened to him since we were in high school. So for a project that comes at this time, I still do not quite connect with it. And it's probably, it's not, like I said last time, it's possible for someone to make a project and there's nothing
no song for you.
And for me, this feels like it, because Road to Kirya and...
when you listen to it, do you feel like there is a story he's telling?
I don't...
Like from top to bottom?
I don't see the story. I don't...
Because I'm trying to sort of
find the explanation.
Yeah, because
find where
something that I had
disconnection is.
Something that I had that was constant through it. Again, for me as well, I didn't really connect to it as a whole project, and it was a weird thing because you want to. Ultimately, these are artists we have liked and respected for years, and there's always something. Actually, Maurice, I always said he has this superpower of every project that comes, he always has that song that first of all it gets you and kind of like biases you and eases your listening process, because the other song was just too much that the rest just clicked by association or whatever. But now I think maybe what kind of disturbed me this time is I didn't see that song, I didn't feel it, and throughout the rest, maybe something that I said that there was a bit more constant throughout. There's a number of songs where I get this, I don't know what to call the sound, but if you watch anything, movies or whatever, where they have this New Orleans setting, and there's this sound, there's this jazzy type of, there's a sound that's there, and I get that New Orleans blues type something in this project. I don't know if there's a gig, a New Orleans gig that he's going for, but But something interesting though is, again, Maurice releases these projects and he always has some plan. Now I see this Road to Kirya show coming through with features like, he has Kamanzi, he has Kenneth Mugabe, who you mentioned, Badman from Ginger. I think I saw them post something on the socials recently. He has a number of artists. He has Chimera. He has...
Oh yeah, speaking of concerts, so if you had to curate a hip hop concert. Let me make this a bit hard. 3 artists, 3 acts. So you're in charge of the entire show, and you
Only
have to
3.
Only 3. And so you're in charge of the venue, you're in charge of everything, but you have to choose only 3 artists.
Question: is it 3 artists, as in Mark is the star of the show, and you guys are just like appearing to join, or is it 3 artists? As in, the show is for all 3 of them.
All 3 of them. If you had to choose 3 artists, I need the artist and I need the venue.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's one show with all 3.
One show. Oh yeah.
Okay, so since Felix has experience doing shows with hip hop artists, he should start.
I was also going to say, since I've done a bunch of them, let
You
you
said
start.
you have the
start.
experience.
You have the experience. You start.
Gosh, man.
And for you, we've given you Nambole. So
No 3 guys can feel Nambole.
really,
No 3 guys that can feel Nambole. Unless you're going to give me a budget for Drake.
no 3 guys can fit a Drake budget.
No, I'm saying you give me a budget for Drake, I get Drake with Phil Nambole. Then there you can add 2 guys, those are 3 acts.
No, I need Ugandan artists.
Yeah, you get an
Hip hop.
change venue.
Okay, look, go cricket oval.
Eish. But you know these things are super direct. We don't have even to go way ahead, because if you are looking at a venue like that, that means our main objective is sell tickets. So I'm going to look for 3 guys who can sell tickets.
Yes, who are those
That's
3
your
guys?
Navio, that's your GNL, that's your Munji.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I can even remove GNL since it's not hot right now, and I put Fikfa Maker.
Okay.
Those are my 3.
Interesting.
I can even remove, and I put Gravity, because Gravity I sold out Cricket Over before.
Was it cricket oval or
Go Cricket
Cadilux?
Over. Well, that's the upper one.
Cricket oval.
Cricket Over, because I was there. I was part of that thing. We did digital for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skyline Media.
So I can just interchange.
Yeah.
But since it's that venue, honestly, it will be a Navio, either Gravity.
Okay. Hold on. If you had to do, there must be one new artist.
One new artist.
Yeah. So you can get 2 of your choosing, but the one must be a new artist.
This question is editing
One
itself.
new artist, one
The
new
exam, the question is, the teacher is like, on question 2, please.
Yeah,
First.
because you I mean, see what Maurice Kirya is doing.
Yeah.
And the lineup is Cohen.
No,
Cohen is not there.
it's Kenneth Mugabe, it's
Because,
Kamanzi,
Oh, Kamanzi.
it's
Want to be on show now.
Chimera.
As you can see, I'm
Road to Kirya too.
already in concert mode.
New guy.
New guy.
Ish, man.
It can't be that hard, man.
I don't see a new guy who can sell tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
Ish. That's
I don't see. Because there we are talking about what, 10,000 people?
The problem is the venue you've given him.
So you want me to give you what? To give you a hall at Fairway Hotel?
No, our studio here.
Oh, well,
Even us 3 the podcast guys can sell out the studio.
let me get away from that madness. For me, in order to incorporate your new guy theory and everything, I'll probably go for a different, maybe because of what I like to listen to. I'll try to go for a more intimate setting, smaller venue, where in the music, and that's how I started to enjoy people like this is just an R&B reference, but that's how I started to enjoy people like Kenneth. You do an event where it's like at a design hub, and you're there in the music with the person, and you're all close, and you just appreciate in a different level. So I'd want a band, and then maybe 3 acts that have that type of music that can be slowed down and enjoyed in that type of intimate setting. So this is more rapping, that is rapidy rap. And I would, for that, I would have...
It's not that hard.
It really is, though. For that intimate setting type thing, I'd want someone who knows how to talk to the crowd and everything. So I'd want to start. I want to have the myth.
Okay.
I would want to have. Suppose we have to have a new person.
Yeah.
We first go younger, still not necessarily new. I'd want to have Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And Hey, I want to add like a different flavor. I'd want to put someone like, this is just weird, but because of everything we enjoyed last year, I'd want to have a Saint Maximin.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
But honestly speaking, like let's say if I had a budget, right, and I'm throwing a concert of, should I say, of my passion, where I am not responsible for ticket sales, profit, what you know, because sometimes you have stakeholders who want to see ticket sales. I would love to do a Myth concert. Just a headline, a concert headline by the Myth.
Yeah,
because I feel like we haven't had a proper Myth show in a while. I think the last one we had was Destination Africa.
At the Gatomato.
Yeah, at Gatomato. But we haven't had a proper Myth show in a while.
Yeah.
And a proper Myth show, I don't mean where he performs only the hit singles, the buster shots. No, where he performs songs that we would want him to...
As hip-hop fans.
Yeah, as hip-hop fans, we want him to watch him perform like line such a concert. Yeah. Line for line, what's life about? Because I can imagine what's life about with a whole band. With a band, with what?
Toast to Life remix with Lillian.
This is all to say that sponsors, give me money, I get you the Myth, we do a Ugandan concert.
I tell you, I have his number also.
we can even have the family string to pull.
And if you want to start by sending something less, don't forget 624404. That's 624404.
But I think we need to give Mark a commission on our Momo.
A commission
but
for
the
what?
money we are getting in this episode,
It goes to Les's heartbreak.
Sam is going to Les. He needs therapy.
He needs therapy.
Yeah, because
Shock therapy.
Well, we'll even pay for Mutono to come and sing with his husky voice.
Imagine you're going through shock therapy and halfway through maybe it goes before they complete. just be there.
It's a vegetable.
You're not aligned. But back to your concert thing. Yeah, that's what I would want to do.
And you, Ian, Mr. It's Easy. Tell us.
of course, I'd have Navio. I'd have GNL. But it has to be the old songs. The new music, we are yet to catch on what he's trying to do.
Oh, I want to interrupt you because I saw some freestyle on his Facebook.
Yeah.
Recently, I think that the other day or something. Really dope. He was killing the system.
Yeah, because I feel like with that old album, that his latest album, it felt like an experiment.
Oh, yeah. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Felt like he was experimenting a new sound.
But that's what the band is about. His band, the Nsimbi band. That's the sound. That's what they are going for.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but I feel like it's still too early for us to appreciate it. Eventually, we will. That's why I'm saying if I chose him.
You guys are waiting for it to be Grammy nominated, and you appreciate it.
Not even Grammy nominated. Eventually, it comes to you. Eventually,
But me personally, anyway, let's concentrate on today. You're saying old album. You want him to perform old songs,
old tracks, because the new ones we don't quite understand it yet.
Imagine a Baboon Forest reunion.
Reunion concert. Wow.
Yep.
Imagine a Blues reunion concert.
Yo.
Imagine both of them. Actually, at the Smack League the other day with Lillian and Babazi and Jackie on stage together, it was interesting for when we had Lillian say, "So who wants a Blue 3 reunion concert?" I'm like, "Hey, don't play with us like that, Lillian. If you're listening, I'll tweet. On PMBs and tweeting. No."
Hey, but also that Lillian, she has had some killer features. Remember Memories with APAS.
Listen, she has had
Leslie, please
songs.
don't play that song. But it's
one man's Leslie, I need a visa wherever you're going. I won't say anything.
Yeah, but Baboon Forest reunion concert. Man,
That's dope. That's actually dope. That would be
And imagine the venue set it up like a forest. What?
Forest.
Not a
and then you get gorilla costumes, and then Uganda Wildlife Authority. Hi.
But you see the problem with the Forest concert. We can't attend with Leslie. What if he hangs himself?
Hey, Jesus. Anyway, in terms of concerts, let us
What's
right
the
away.
disclaimer? Normally issue the views of
The views expressed on the
I
podcast.
feel like we need it here.
The views expressed.
Omunyanya yagambye tugire ku munyanya. But yeah, those are concerts I would love to work on.
But I
will even lift a speaker if need be.
You didn't tell us a third artist.
Third artist.
You bring the Katamba to Kuva.
Okay, by new artists.
Yes, you're the one who threw it there. So
I don't know if it still qualifies, but I was thinking of like a Taka.
Taka is not me.
He's not.
But also on that
he's
point,
in the young
no,
generation. He's mid-generation.
No. But then also on that point, I want to send a shout out to Taka. We've done a lot of events together, and you've come through for me to perform. So salute, my guy. Salute.
Yeah.
Temusirika, you are doing
of course,
something.
Taka is. I mean, we've this last season I need copyright because we start filming the car show again soon. Oh, thank God, people thought it had failed. But so we need like a vroom.
But,
and people is this too, by the way.
To take you guys back a bit on the Babon thing, I feel like all those three guys, their catalog is impeccable where they are now.
It is.
So you get a lot of value for the money.
No, when you said it clicks. It makes instant sense.
Yeah.
Instant.
So let them think about it. We'll be in the audience shouting.
Up there. Alibad tickets will be the ones. Actually, we've talked a lot about people who've done like projects and things like that. We've had a lot of, if you look at episode 1, we talked about projects. If you look at episode 2 and whatever, we talked about a lot of the younger guys out there putting in music and work. But there's someone who, it's interesting because he doesn't fit. He's not a new, same thing we say about Taki, he's not new. And then, weirdly enough, he didn't have a project last year because he really did tell us that he intended to release a lot of music and just like first flood the industry until there's some stuff that gets plugged somewhere with all the music he's releasing. And that's Wanda JR.
Yeah.
If I look back at the stuff he released, let's say just last year alone into this year, let me just start with last year. So many dope songs, so many dope vibes, such energy. And then, of course, now it has gone into another, let me say, level with the recent releases. That is, it's Weekend with Umoja Sounds. And he now has...
what's that new one? That
Nimba.
Dropped recently.
Nimba.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Wanda JR has just been relentless.
That's one way to put it, yes.
Yeah, and you see his type of energy matched with the kind of content, the kind of music he's putting out, and the work ethic and the visuals and the everything. You can feel like he's not taking anything for granted. And it's always refreshing to find an artist. He reminds me of what like Kevin Hart did when you land on, to make it in whatever industry you're in, you just must put in the work, you must put in the quality, you must be in people's faces because otherwise they forget about you. And Wanda JR has consistently just been that artist that the music, he's just flooding the industry. Then he does visuals. Then he's in Nairobi filming dope collabos with all these artists and introducing us to these new acts and exporting himself to these new acts. I don't know, man.
Wow.
He's one of those artists where it's really exciting every time I get that notification on YouTube or Tidal that he has dropped something. It's just really one of those artists. It's always a good moment. And
I actually like that. I know Leslie's not here, but we had a Tribe Chats interview where Leslie got to speak to Wanda JR and allowed Wanda to tell some of his stories or some of his ideas, some of his thoughts. And sometimes Leslie is useful. So the Wanda interview, it's there. It's still, of course, available on the Tribe UG website. And it's just, when he says he's going to, many people tell us I'm going to do this and then you don't do it. But he said he's going to do this. He says this is my plan. He's being asked an album comes like, no, I want to first do this. And it is what he's doing currently. Of course, we hope as we watch these things happen, we always, plans are plans and we always hope that the end product or the end goal is actually achieved. Yeah. So let's wait and see where this goes. Of course, everyone has their method. Let's wait and see where this goes. I'm intrigued. Felix?
Yeah. And who likes your amapiano and stuff? I know you like.
Why does this feel like an attack?
You don't like amapiano because of the music. It's because of the babes. You should go and watch his weekend video. It may, you don't have to wait to be heartbroken to discover some of this stuff.
First of all, I was on that content before on it. That content, it's an EP by Umoja Sound. It has Kamanzi. It has Frederick Muller. We do digital for an East African TV. So pretty much there's no new East African content you're going to
check the credentials.
So yeah,
it's on the business card.
So very soon you even see us in Kigali. So all that is to say that I've been on this before you on it.
But also my point was you who likes amapiano.
Yeah.
Wanda Jar is catering to why you like amapiano.
No. And that's the irony. I'm sorry to say this, but amapiano that is out of SA, I felt to like it.
Really?
Yeah, I felt to like it.
He's like those people who, like if you're
not a purist.
If you're eating fish, if it's not in Entebbe, he doesn't want it.
It's not in front of the lake.
It's not in front of the lake.
But that's just to say, personally, because in a way, let me quote unquote, I've consulted on a few amapiano songs, quote unquote, for some Ugandan guys here, and it's so you take something, right? But I didn't want to go in this conversation. But you're taking me there.
It was supposed to be on Wanda JR.
Hey, this is supposed to be on Wanda JR. Yet,
I just want to say, for you'd rather be listening to Amapiano DJ.
But we're
that layover we had.
Yeah. But and I do. But that's just to say, right? That's just to say, we are happy with what Wanda JR has done. Collaborating. He's now out of the Ugandan borders. Well, he was before when he had just come back from the UK. There's even a song of his called Drogba was acquired for a certain documentary in the UK. It's just to say that for me personally, I feel like Wanda JR has found himself. He has found his voice.
Yes.
Because if you look at his earlier projects, they weren't really it for me. But now you can see
almost every song.
You can see the growth. You can see, I don't know who gave him the hack to turn down the British accent a bit, but he has turned it down, and now guys are vibing to his things. You can see he tries to tap into the downtown audience by using words, research, what here, Tomvuga speedy here and there. You can see he's really trying to tap into the different audiences, and at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. And also to build onto that, he has done his own quote unquote events, with the Panamera one, remember?
The variable.
Yeah, and then after I was trying to talk to them like, hey, what's the idea behind it? Blah blah blah. So they do the Panamera one in Kampala, and then after they go to the West. There's a name they have. It's called the Western Alliance, something like that. It's him. It's Chief from the Klansmen, and then also it's Ru. So it's like they've created this whole new alliance of rappers from the West. Sorry, Ian, you're not a part of it. Apollo wasn't invited.
Just like you wanted invited to that event we attended.
Yeah. So you can see he's really making new moves here and there. He's pushing the envelope.
I've not forgiven you for last week. You're already adding on.
Actually, speaking of Wanda and events, another one we attended that Ian wasn't invited to was his expressions. And that was really dope. And like we said, you see, it's one thing for us to say, we've listened, we like, but it's another thing for us to actually show. Anyway, let me not get into that, but we are there, and that expressions thing was, I think you would think it was our party.
I think it was. You remember that chick who did a split on the dance floor?
Is that when Les began crying?
Les wasn't. Les foxed. But it's okay. We are used to you guys.
But me, I don't focus on purpose. You guys never tell me something.
I've always heard that your favorite artist is Foxy Brown.
No, and his favorite actor, Jamie Foxx.
And my favorite local artist, Kid Fox.
And his favorite dance is the foxtrot. No, but foxes aside. No, Wonder, you had, I know, Ian, you had that kind of thing that you liked and saved and hid somewhere. That a certain tweet. Let me make a research and read so that I don't misquote, and then people say, "Hey, Mark, you lied. The other guy didn't say that."
Yeah, but it's been a general sentiment.
Let me read this. Wanda says, and this is a tweet from 2nd of June at 12:16 p.m. Honestly, it's about time the Ugandan urban artists get their flowers. If only the media could act accordingly. There ain't no telling how economically viable it would be for our people. So much talent. Hashtag UG Urban Music.
Yeah, but well, it's
the energy has dropped.
So he has shifted. So he's calling out the media in this tweet.
I guess. Of course, it's just a tweet.
Yeah.
You know the characters are limited. I don't know. I was not looking at
The only challenge is Wanda Jira is not here
to explain to
defend
us
his words or to explain.
But of course, these are things or sentiments, like he has said, that we've heard before, maybe here and there,
from a
number of artists, especially younger ones.
Guys, it's simple. It is simple. It is simple. It is simple. A lot of stakeholders care about one thing: the bottom line. How is it looking like at the end of the quarter? If it's media, how many newspapers have we sold? If it's TV, how many advertising revenue have we brought in? Which show has brought in that advertising revenue? If it's a music show and it hasn't brought in advertising revenue, the question is why? And then if you look at the why, you find that because you pretty much didn't have the audience, and what brings in the audience is the downtown music. Guys, it's about the bottom line. Even if you go to the sponsors, it's about the bottom line. What value are you bringing? So before we call out other stakeholders, let's first look at ourselves and what can we fix and what can we improve. Look, we did the first awards in 2016. It wasn't by mistake. The plan to do the awards has always been around, but the question was, what are we offering sponsors? And we had to first build a community. You have to build the community, right? Right? This is the hack. Build the community. Find a way to reach that community, right? What is the purchasing power of that community? What can they afford to buy without? Because the industry we are in, people are spending using their disposable income.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I'll have to first take care of my priorities, which is rent, transport to work, and whatever money remains. Then maybe I can go for your event. Maybe I can pay for a Tidal and I stream and I do it. We are in an economy, we are in an industry where people are spending on us out of their disposable income. Look at the downtown market. Downtown market, a guy is going to drive his Bajaj like 3-4 rounds and he has money for a concert. In that case, it can even be a VIP because before the day end, that guy can make 50K and he can go for the concert and then he can support his local artist, something like that. So know who the person you are talking to, how to reach them, what is their purchasing power, and then also what does that person want. Because yes, the person you can reach the person, but the sponsor may not be selling to that person that you are trying to give them to sell to. So guys, it's about the bottom line. Yes, we have a passion for music, but the moment you want to earn from this music, you have to look at other stakeholders and what those stakeholders are looking for and what they are selling. Yes, you can have the passion, you may be there, I don't want to sell out. That's all good and well, and it's okay. You can be there and you're not a sellout, but the moment you bring in any other stakeholder, be it media, be it the tribe, be it what, even me, the tribe, when you talk to me to partner with you, there's some objectives I have, and if they're not aligned with what you have, I'm going to say no. So guys, before we go out there to call out people I'm not saying it's bad to call them out. Probably it's good. Probably it's also something that
We all have to hold each other accountable. So it only makes sense.
See. And then also, again, if you're not okay with what you're seeing, do
there's always a way to find an angle.
Yeah, an angle, but then also build your own.
Yeah.
We were there and weren't happy with how hip hop was being covered in the country. We did the Tribe. Our first review, for Christ's sake, was a Taka review. Out of the entire industry, it was a Taka review, because even Taka reached out to us and we were like, hey, we have never done this before, because the first articles we were doing, there were more of opinion pieces. And when he reached out, we were like, hey, we have never done this before, but baby steps, we are going to do the review and you give us feedback on what to improve, on what to do. So if you're not happy with what other stakeholders are doing, especially in the urban sector, you can also do it your own. If you're not okay with the media representation, go look for investors to give you money. And that's the thing, guys, since you believe in your product so much, and since you believe in the urban industry so much, go look for investors, let them give you money, and you build a TV station that will probably play urban music, a radio station that will probably play urban music, or do a series of events that will probably support urban artists. So that's all to say, yes, we can complain, we can do it, but the people who will change this, it's me and you. Outsiders are not.
I like that you've said that, and I'll take away from it a bit.
It's like I was ranting.
You really went. You really went. So here to lighten the mood. No, I like that you said that, because there's certain things that we've said before, even here on the podcast, where there are things that are not in our power, right? There are things that are out of our control. But before we can realign those things to fit our agenda, we can improve or sort out certain things on our end. For instance, you've said set up a series of events that might help promote the style of music we're talking about, right? But you see, the event comes from not just the artists that you've chosen, it's what the DJ is playing. And we've said this before. And guess what? We said this on episode 2 about us going to events and being in shock that every time these guys have a lot of artists that are there, that are talented, that have great music that we like, and some that we don't even know, and we're like, oh, this is our chance to really just, be completely immersed in it. We don't get the opportunity because they're playing Felix's Amapiano. And then, and then the artists get on and perform, the songs that we know then, or some unreleased ones. But then if you look at things, again, the next episode, we have Sal DJ coming through, and she's like, yeah, if I'm called for the event and this is what is on the poster, I'm doing research to make sure I have that music and everything that speaks to it, bring my style, my flair, whatever it is to it, and play that because it matches the event. Imagine if you went to like the UG Hip Hop Awards, then they're playing, I don't know, something that doesn't match. And yet, again, you've mentioned that the ones I've attended, there's been someone like DJ Dropout, who I was always impressed every single time I listened to him, and not just there, even elsewhere. And it's the same thing with Sal DJ at the MTN Pal Shrub Battle Showcase. She was playing songs, Lagoom's album, and she's just playing things that are from music from the people that we expect or would hope to hear at such an event. And so for me, it's those small things, and then there's the even smaller ones, like what time we start. Because we're trying to sell to a company, and the company shows up, and the way we present ourselves, and the way we don't take certain things. Because remember, it's Jobo, it's professional for them. So if you don't do the professional thing, then the company will be like, hey, but now my money, if I put it here, I know the other guy who's like this, let me take it them in.
We really care about that industry, guys. We are speaking from a position of love.
The same love that broke Leslie's heart.
Yeah. And it comes down to efficiency at the end of the day, because something you have to thrive to do as you build the industry, as you build it to get to whatever levels you want it, as you build it to get to whatever kind of monetization you want, money you want to earn, money you want to be paid for concerts, the media coverage you want. It all comes down to efficiency. Because you see, if you're efficient with how you write, how you produce, how you release, how you market, how you present yourself, it's going to be easy for you to get the attention of whoever you're trying to reach out to.
Yeah.
Because I know the media, we tend to say the media does not cover urban music as much as we think it should be covered, but there's so many gaps. There is still not value for money yet in some areas. So if we say, because they do cover some areas and the coverage is improving, but by what mile would you push it if you improve the efficiency of how you do something?
Where they can't deny anymore.
Yeah, where they can't deny anymore. Because we have to stop giving them an excuse of oh no, but would rather send the media team, maybe like a certain media house, would rather send the media team here because, they'll start on time, they'll be organized, they'll do this, blah, 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 blah. And because these guys, after covering this, they have to go and cover some riot downtown. So if you guys are also very efficient, where the media houses cannot deny anymore, they send your guys, you're starting at 7, boom, do your thing, let them go and tear gas their bodies. But it has to be
views
expressed on the podcast.
I think we need that line running at the bottom of the screen because, man.
So for me, the whole
just
the
like
approach
that,
needs to be,
you've called out VSG and the second market people.
it has to be, you have to choose to be efficient because that's the only way. If you're efficient, of course, it reflects in your work, and whoever you're trying to impress cannot be like, you're slacking here because you're being efficient. So I know it's growing, but play your part. We are playing our part as a tribe, UG.
Other people
are playing their part. So let everybody play their part efficiently, and soon we shall align. I know.
And the biggest mistake I think we do is to think that, quote unquote, those other stakeholders really care about us.
Yeah.
They don't. So now, like, for example, like that tweet, trust me, they won't even see it. It's only us who are going to see it and we'll be like, hey, by the way, guys, this and this was shared by Wanda JR. And he's right to share his sentiments, his views. But at the end of the day, those guys really don't care about us.
So we have to find a way to make them care.
Yeah. So it's us to fight. It's us to break down the barriers. It's us to fight.
Yeah, so like Felix has said.
And be I had, by the way.
and like I've always like I said earlier, if you really care about this urban industry, quote unquote, go out there and look for people who are willing to back you. And I've always given an example, and I gave it at the Bimba facilitation we had when kids were asking, hey, how can I get sponsorship? I'm like, look, if you can't convince the close people you talk to every day to sponsor you with a 10K or 20K, then there is an issue.
Yeah.
Speaking of can't close people that we talk to every day, please, close people that we talk to every day that listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
We thank you for sending that kamane, and we would look forward to the next one you send.
And then you see
4404.
And you see we asked our sponsors that can we shout out you on the pod. They're like, no, don't. They were like, no, let's just keep sending the coins. As in, they are that rich, they don't even care about cheap popularity. They're like, no, it's okay. So again, like Mark said, thank you. And shout outs. And on that issue, guys, if you can't get your close circle to sponsor you, trust me, you won't convince a big company to sponsor you. It is as easy as that.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask Les.
So, someone else, speaking of efficiency, someone else that had quite an interesting year. And of course, he has been bringing fire for a while. I was going to say spitting fire, and I remember that he's behind the scenes. But there's a one bad man, Axon.
Yo, Axon.
Yo.
No, like, you see, we've had a producer episode before. Last season, episode 5, we did talk about producers. And, you know, a lot of the producers we're looking at were producers that had a long run in the game, especially attached to hip-hop. Because we did look at Ethan, Samurai, Cause and Effect, Baru. You know, we mentioned a number of names that were just, of course, and more. Check out the episode to find out. But we mentioned a couple of names, but someone who has been helping out the hip-hop and R&B scene in general has been Axon. He's been just, I was writing the review for the Lucas Black project. I'm like, but first wait. Where you write something because it's relevant for the project in particular. And I'm like, I feel like I've written this before.
Yeah.
So I went back to Fab and checked my Akane review, and I'm like, wait, yes, I did say this. So I even had to check my words and edit them so that I'm not being repetitive.
Yeah.
But that's how much he has been in it. And then I look back to the Cohen one, and again, and I'm like, this guy.
Yeah, but he's Being a bad man.
Axon is a bad man.
Yeah.
Yo.
And I like that he's those like he has that signature
That
Axon. You're like, oh. And every time you hear it, it's, I mean,
You're ready.
You already know, like, you know what to expect. And and for me, it's what's most exciting about it is the range, like that.
Yeah.
The artist he works with, the kind of music he produces. It's just he's one of those producers where there are really no barriers, and that becomes, as an industry, it becomes very, very, I don't know, you have a big pool to pick from, because whatever vision you have, if you take to Axon, he's going to probably understand you and try to execute to your level. He's not boxed into some kind of production style or some kind of market.
I don't know if you read my review, but I did say something like that. Hey, well done.
Yeah, and speaking
you see, his break was much needed. He rebooted, now he can speak some sense.
Yeah, so Leslie, stop boxing yourself in that room. Get out.
So you are now deflecting to Les.
It's
I was even going to say you had reached your maximum quota of speaking sense, and indeed you are deflecting on Les, you reached
the range of Axon.
Man, I remember I met my first interaction with Axon was there's a panel Benezeria had organized. It was me, it was Denisi, some lawyer, and then Afsa of who used to do Black Kids and Wine events. And then Axon was no, okay, it's not some lawyer, it's Mr. Luanga. It's just that I didn't want to mention his name because privacy issues. But now I can mention his name since you have called me out. But I remember speaking to Axon, and Axon's view was what because again I was speaking to the issue of financing in the industry and all those things, and his approach was, what about us who really like the music, us who are passionate about the music? Do we now just mass produce because that's what the finances command? Or but from then up to now, if you look at the growth and the collaborations he has had and the credits he has had, you can see Axon is on the right track. And like I've already said about Axon, if you need that song that is going to cut across the downtown market and the urban market, Axon is the producer for me right now. He's the one who can deliver
every
that.
time.
And he has delivered that for Fikfa Maker. He has delivered that for, what's this guy? John Black, I think they collaborated some time together also. And you can even see Rules.
That Rules
project, everyone I shared it with, they were like, who is the artist? Who is the producer? Yeah. Those were the two questions and it didn't matter where I played it, because I played it in different environments, because sometimes us, we care about the music, so we are going to naturally find out who it is, blah, blah, blah.
Me, I played it in my office also.
But I've tried to play it in different environments and at people who are casual, let me say casual Ugandan consumers. They just wait for a song to become a hit and then they consume it. But the moment I play it, they're like, hey, who is that guy? And I'm like, okay, he's Badman Axon. He's his other music. Check him out. And the man has been consistent, and I feel like there's nothing that is going to stop him. In a few years, he's going to be a household name. I
was actually saying, when I did the Kane review, I said, you know what's crazy? You could probably make a Heyo Axon playlist and it would be fire. Yeah. And one of the craziest things is it's not just that, it's that I can make a Heyo Axon playlist. You can make one. Would have a number of songs that cut across, but there would be certain selections that are completely different because, like you said, the range. There's a lot to offer. That he's done so much that for different vibes you might put different songs, and that's pretty dope.
And I think it's like a producer thing. He's calm. Like he's not aware of this. He's like some. It's like they're not aware of this magnificent work they are doing.
To Zamira, and you're like, yo, you did this song? Yeah, I did that song. Then you also did this song? Yeah, I did that one. Like, no, they could be like, yeah, man. Like, I'd be like, if I'd done some of those songs that I had, I'd be like, listen, that's
I'd be quite arrogant.
You're already
arrogant. You're already arrogant with your cash show, yet you have no show. So
it's just a cash show.
A cash show.
You people have used this cash show. I'm shocked it didn't come up last week. I was waiting for it the whole time, like, oh shit.
No, it was forgettable.
We can only handle one community. we can only handle one community at a time, so we don't want the automotive industry to come for us.
Automotive.
It's automotive.
You see, that's why you're on the show.
But when my cash flow returns, you guys are not going to feature anywhere.
It's okay. We shall retweet.
Don't even retweet. Okay, retweet. I need the views. But I've even forgotten what I wanted to say. You see,
forgettable.
Whatever it was clearly forgettable. But before producer chases us because we didn't pay for extra hours in the building, I know we have said these things with some emotions because of our connection to the industry. But there are certain things, there are many platforms that guys have come up with. Like Leslie said last time, it's pretty dope to see all these collectives and all these things that people are putting together in terms of, like stuff like the expressions, where expressions usually where guys are going, performing, getting to, as fans, you get to go and enjoy that intimate setting that I was talking about earlier. Listen to the artists, you're right there with them in their music.
Yeah.
There's stuff like what you've said for what they're doing, Wonder JR and Rionga, and there's just so many platforms that are being set up, and would like to
Bantu vibes,
then the new wave. Like there's so many
the
different
Clan
ones.
by Benaziri,
Entico.
by
Now speaking of the
Entico
gospel
by the,
collective,
gospel friends.
we have a brand new Cypher. And it's the Fuse Cypher.
Yeah, Fuse Cypher.
Of course, it's not the first, but there's a recent one, so we're going to jump right on that. And listen, there's a number of artists. I think it was Wake, it was Waade, Waade.
Waade, Ray something. I've forgotten his name.
Ray
MC. Then a guy called, I think it's called Cadilux, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Cypher. It's interesting how, of course, most notable for me would be Wake, and it's interesting how it's just pure dopeness.
Listen, I don't know how to tell people this. Like, I've been saying it, and some people have been taking it certain ways, but we've been listening to Wake. His poem on the Ugandan podcast, I think it's called Movement. That's just crazy. And it was so interesting that he was able to use that very poem as his victory or acceptance speech for his
Vine
Award of spoken word act of the year, I think. So he's been on a roll. And then a lot of his music that he's been releasing, he had a video last year, and you're like, okay, yeah, fire. And then his poem on Flex's album. And of course, I mentioned it, and some people are like, that's a shot at Flex. I'm like, no, it's praise for Wake. These are two different things.
What did you mention? Repeat it.
I said my favorite thing on Flex's album was the poem by Wake.
It wasn't even the man's songs.
Yeah, but it is what you see. I had a conversation with Tucker once, and I was talking about features who come and do like some dopeness on your project. And Tucker's like, listen, if I bring you onto my project, that is what I want. I want not necessarily for you to have but in the sense that I've brought you for a reason. I've brought you because people need to hear the fire that you have. I've not brought you because you're someone I know from yesterday when we were in Dibala. I've brought you because I believe you have some quality you're going to add to my project. So if anything, it is a testament to Flex for bringing Wake on board to do what he did. You understand?
Just damn. I've refused.
He has become political.
It has not.
For what Wake has done on this Cypher, and for me, the fact that they put him in the middle, it's very difficult. There are people who killed it towards the end, but like,
I don't remember any of them. I remember Wake.
I like the ease Wake has between being a rapper and a poet. I know they are close.
But
still,
you could feel the poetry.
sometimes you find a poet is strictly a poet, they can't rap, or you find a rapper, they don't touch poetry, but I like the way with ease how we manage.
The man started by singing. Let's forget he started by singing. Then first did something that sounded spoken wordish, and then went straight into rapping, rapidy rap. Like, Wake, man. I don't even understand. Like, I tell you people this. If I hear, if Wake has an album coming out, I can only imagine the fire.
I think he has something. I think he has something.
Good space.
When we were recording the Ugandan podcast, I had a chat with him. He has a project coming out.
Okay. I'm very eager to.
And speaking of Wake, I know Leslie, you said you're going to sleep the whole day because of the heartbreak. Please wake up.
What awake. No, but I think before we leave as well, there are some things Felix has been avoiding.
Yeah, the things I've been avoiding. But before we leave that Cypher, I want to send a shout out to Shadrach Kutesa. One of the guys, he's the one behind it. It's part of, I think it's leading up to an event. He has a Fuse event where he puts gospel rappers together.
Yeah.
Actually, people who are gospel and are part of the hip hop community, because Shadrach came from hip hop. So he's still a part of hip hop, but more from the Christianity side. Shout outs to him because he's doing a lot. He has awards, he has the Fuse event, and now the Fuse Cypher.
Yeah, but also you're quite inconsiderate.
You guys
supposed to take Leslie to this thing. You can find healing in Jesus.
I told you I want a visa from Les. At least visa recommendation. Don't say anything.
You won't meet Jay-Z and you won't get the 500K.
Rock Nation branch. What an invite.
double us. No, but there's someone Felix has been addressing via the corners. He needs to talk to her directly. Felix, that conversation that you keep asking about.
Which one?
That one who you want to talk to Nihati.
No.
The one who you want to call a secret.
Today's episode was for the single mothers. She's not a single mother. But today was for the single mothers.
But from the way I know, you're going to
single
make a
mothers
single mother.
in whose arms are found comfort from time and again.
Baby daddy no wahala.
Yeah, I hope you watch the podcast and I hope you send money to our MoMoPay merchant code.
You know, there's a time I was telling Felix, I'm like, man, I'm like, life. I'm like, we need to go to gym. Felix is like, man, I can't. I'm like, what's up? He's like, when they call me baby, it will not hit if I lose weight. So all along it was about the single mother.
I said when they call me Zaddy. They call me Zaddy. They can't call you Zaddy when you're like this. You even look like a struggling campus.
I think he has problem. He's on top of going to the gym. He's always running his mouth.
Skipping leg day just like that, running his mouth.
His legs are always swinging.
Oh, by the way, shouts out to the behind the scenes guys for these things for stepping on. Last episode I was like this.
And you are still like that. Our camera producer is shaking his head. He's like, Bamu Jewo, no. You see, we really didn't take you off so that you can check yourself, but clearly nothing changed. You came back the same way you were.
Unfortunately for you, Les is not here.
Les, me and him, we are aligned. Shout outs to Victory.
but let me ask, as a concerned team lead, what did you have for Les who's currently crying inconsolably?
Les, first off, we do care about the mental health and the well-being of whoever we work with.
But also, Les is not serious. Because, you see,
you've asked me and I'm answering you and you're going away. You've asked me, I'm answering you and you're going away.
There's some facts you don't have.
Like what?
You know, Les, the heartbreak was inevitable.
Why?
Because you see, the problem with people like Les.
Hey.
So, what did Les expect?
Mm-hmm.
You're there for you, Simanyi, Jay-Z, you're in SA, you're bichi. What business did he have going to Gulu University to get a chana?
Our good people of Gulu University, the views expressed on the podcast
Not only the people of Gulu University, the people of Gulu district.
No,
Gulu municipality.
because what you don't know.
Because Gulu,
Do you know
why he went?
Do you know why he's
he went?
He said
Gulu Telio Mwenge, and Gulu has been a number one spot for hip hop.
Yeah, but you know the problem.
And Gulu University is known for medicine. So what I say?
Les sent her transport. And she didn't come. Exactly. These are things you didn't do.
Les.
Had she been at Moobs, he'd walk up to the hostel and check. Ngab sent mobile money, but good. Is he going to jump on a bus?
Les flies. He doesn't jump on buses. What I say. Les, as usual, we hope we held it down for you. We don't know the vengeance Ian came
and
with.
Please hold down the tears too.
All I'm going to do is this week I'm going to find you Ian's location. I send you a pin. You link up and you guys sort out each other. As usual, guys, thanks for coming through. Mark, tell the people that MoMoPay.
Guys, reach out and send us that money to 624404. That's 624404.
Give them Leslie's number as well.
Yeah, no. If they want to talk to Les, let them email us. We shall organize a session. Shout outs to LNF Media. Shout outs to Hassan from the family. Hassan, see you next week, guys.